Okay guys, hey, sorry that I haven't posted anything in about 3 weeks. We've been super busy. We got into our new house about 2 weeks ago. So we've been super busy, haven't had time to do anything. But also, this thing has been kind of a pain, but we finally got it back together for the fourth time in those 3 weeks. It broke 4 times. So that's awesome. Story about the house is my roommate Ryan, his boss owns all of this property. Ryan actually works about an 1/8 mile down the street, and his boss owns this house. It used to be a tanning and fitness center, and they kind of just built on to the back half, about right in between the 2 double doors. From there all the way back, they just kind of made it into a house, and all of this is a shop. I'll show you on the inside here in a little bit. But we finally got settled into this about 3 or 4 days ago, and all I've been really doing the last few days is just cleaning everything up. But we did get the fishbowl back. Last time you saw it, the piston rings were getting re-gapped and the engine and the head was getting put back on. And that exact same day, I went out to go kind of just test it, make sure it wasn't going to get hot or do anything weird. Long story short, I was on a back road and I decided to get in it a little bit, and something either had got down inside the timing belt or it was loose or something, and it maybe had tore the side of the timing belt and ripped, or it straight up just was a loose or wacky timing belt. It wasn't on there good, or wasn't tensioned enough, and it let go. I ended up bending 6 exhaust valves, but I got super lucky because all of the pistons were good. The head was good. The head wasn't warped or anything like that. I've got a buddy that works at a local machine shop. He took the pistons with him, and in the last clip on the ringland, you seen where the piston kind of had like shrunk down and it squished the ring inside the ringland. He ended up getting that fixed. Obviously, we got it all back together, and we actually got it on the dyno about a week ago, and it made 427 on 10 to 12 pounds. And we've been just kind of ripping it around town. Over at the new place, I kind of don't know any of these back roads, but I'm getting used to them, taking this thing out every other day. It's probably getting to the point to where I'm gonna need to do an oil change and do some just normal service on it. I do have a handful of clips that I can throw in of me and Mark taking the car out and getting on it a few times. I mean, he's rode in it a bunch of times, but ever since it's been on the dyno and it got tuned out, half decent. This car does not like dynos. Every single time it's on the dyno, something happens. The first time it started overheating, we couldn't figure out why, and it had air in the lines, go figure. And then the second time, the wastegate was broken, the diaphragm was tore out, and got all that fixed. But for 10 pounds of boost,
it's a totally different car.
Yeah, it feels way more responsive, and the power comes on relatively quick, and it's totally different car from the first time we had it out when it wasn't tuned. Obviously, tuning it is going to make a huge difference, but we did last night the other day when we were out driving it around, I noticed the shifter was making a weird noise, so we jacked it up, and we took there was the bolt that goes through the bottom of the shifter under the car. There wasn't a nut on the other side of it, so we jacked the car up and I grabbed the head of the bolt and pulled it right out. So eventually that would have just kind of vibrated itself loose and the shifter would have just fell, and that wouldn't have been cool. But at the same time, we had it jacked up. My other roommate Curtis, the guy who drives that, lifted the car up about 2 inches, because we were rubbing pretty bad on here. Yeah, that's pretty rough on each side. But obviously when you change ride height, you're gonna have to do an alignment after that. This for some reason the steering wheel is straight, because earlier when we drove it around, I remember when I park it, I always park it and make sure the wheels are straight and the steering wheel is straight. So this one's perfectly straight, and this one is towed out a whole bunch. As you can tell, it's kind of, I probably shouldn't drive it and get on it and be doing pulls with it like this, because that is just not safe. But we're alive. We made it back home. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'll throw those clips of us driving the car around. We are finding some cool little spots here in town that are kind of straight and flat and safe to drive on, which is cool. And they're kind of out in like an industrial park area, so you know, those people who work out there, they probably don't care that we go out there. I did a little rip down there. I tried to launch the car in second because I was scared to do it in first. I just didn't want to break something. The tires weren't hot or anything. I was just really nervous. So I just tried to do it in second and it bogged real bad. But I was going to keep driving it, keep learning the car. I got a lot of learning to do. I got a lot of driving to fix. I need some seat time at the track too as well. So just trying to learn the car and make sure it doesn't break. So we got a lot of learning to do. Well, here's inside the shop. It's clearly big enough for my car to go here, Mark's car and Ryan's car, and then we still have all this room right here to pull in cars and, you know, change tires, do oil changes, and just do whatever. You know, we even there's so much room in here, it is crazy. I mean, Mark can ride his bike in here, we can play a game of skate in here. It's unbelievable how lucky we got with this place. We got our living room in here. You know, like the living room is inside the shop, so that's total shouse. We got pretty close on starting Ryan's car last night, but it got late and we decided we would actually go get the parts, you know, because we can start it without a header and all that stuff, but we'd rather, you know, yeah, we still need, I mean, I guess we couldn't have started. We still need this fuel line that goes down, but this thing is getting extremely close. We still need to the only thing we actually have to buy for this thing that we'll probably have to wait a couple days on, or a day or two, is the axles. We still aren't really 100% sure which ones to get because this is a F22 transmission out of a 1990 Accord. So pretty sure my car's H2B. I know it's different, but I use Integra axles. But we'll just have to figure that part out. It's not like we can't start the car. We don't have to have axles to start it. So that's pretty cool. This thing's almost done. Get it going.
I'm excited.
And do hood exit too.
Got a big old hole.
Big old hole right there. Do hood exit.
$600 hood exit.
Yeah, he got this header from a buddy of mine, and this actually turns out to be an H2B header. So H2B obviously leans forward, and so that's going to change the position of how the bottom half of this goes. This actually touches the ground. His car's really not that low at all, so this is a nice header, so we don't want to cut it or bend it or modify it at all. I think he just wants to get rid of it and get a factory one, or just another actual just H-series normal header. So if anybody has an H2B car and they're looking for a really nice H2B 1320 manifold, this is for sale. I think he wants 150 bucks for it. It's pretty cheap. I mean, they're pretty expensive new, and this has only had, you know, a couple weeks worth of drive time on it. Like, all the welds still look awesome. It hasn't been ran a whole lot. It's barely used. It's still got an O2 sensor in it. I mean, it's a nice, you know, 4.2 to 1. But figured I'd just give you guys a little update on what's going on. Thanks for watching.